welcome to our Hot Ones special episode with our ASI candidates, the one, the only, Erin Pruitt.
Hello, lovelies. How are you all doing today?
Good, good. Also today, we have joining us, he calls himself a wing expert, a man who can indulge in many hot wings, Luis.
Pleasure to be here.
Thank you all for
this
joining us.
special
Edition episode of Hot Ones with Erin Pruitt.
Hello, everyone. Okay, what options do we have today?
So today's options, good sir. If you'd like, let me just walk up. We've got the normal lemon pepper as a warm up. Then we've got hot, normal hot. Then we've got a Parmesan one. The difference though is this Parmesan one has ghost pepper sauce on it. And of course we got the normal We're Italian. gonna ask you some
I love it.
questions.
I
While
might
we
cry a
start
little
off
bit.
with the first lemon pepper wing. So let's go ahead. Let's take a bite. What has motivated you to run for president of ASI?
Well, thank you. Yes. The reason why I wanted to run for ASI president was because I've been in ASI for 2 years now as the director of students with disabilities. And that was a real catalyst for me wanting to join, was because I didn't realize that we even had an advocacy role and an ASI director role for students with disabilities on campus. And being someone with a disability myself, I felt like it'd be a great opportunity post-COVID, as we were kind of coming back, to get involved as well as be a voice for students like me. And so I've been doing that for 2 years now, and unfortunately, but fortunately, I'm termed out, and I think that's a good thing because I don't believe in candidates being in a position for 6 years. But I am sad to leave it because I've been able to do a lot of great things on campus, and I'm going to miss working with SSD specifically in that role. But that's why I want to run, is I want to hopefully be able to continue my work in that role and then also expand upon what I've done. A lot of things I've implemented have actually been pretty successful, and I think if it works in the small scale, it can be applied on a big scale. So I want to hopefully do that as ASI president.
Thank
So
you.
Erin, you talked about how some of the things you've implemented on a small scale have been pretty successful, and you want to take it to a larger scale, obviously from president.
Mm-hmm.
Could you talk a little bit more in detail about some of those small things and how you see them on a larger scale?
Absolutely. So thank you, Luis. So one of the big things is that when I first came over here, a lot of people didn't realize where SSD was. And so what I did to create that idea was I started implementing sensory days at SSD, which highlights neurodivergent disabilities, like different activities that are kind of soothing and calming, and then kind of stimulate. And so we'll have like painting positivity, and we did that to implement it around campus. There was a rock that used to be by the library. I don't know if it's still there. I have to go look. From those groups, but it was mainly used to draw students into a specific location, as well as celebrate different disabilities. What I want to do is that's been pretty successful, and I've even noticed by the Kegley Center, the Writing Center, some of our pumpkins from October's Painting Positivity, that one was, they still had them highlighted. I think now they've unfortunately died because they're real pumpkins. But what's nice though is that I think there's a lot of places on campus that people still don't know about, like the Magic Center. And I've said this for a while now, that we don't do enough events over there, because if you don't take students there, how are they going to know where it's at? And I think that type of part of campus is pretty isolated from the rest of us. So I think having it where even committees, we go and we meet in person, and we meet over in those different locations around campus and bring people to it. Or we're the ones that get to decide where the events are. So why are we not focusing our events over there and taking students with us and showing them the resources they have? And so I think you can do that with other ones. Another one too, a little bit to answer real quick. One of the things we're doing is I'm trying to work right now to do a social media campaign with SSD of the steps in meeting with the departments of, if somebody needs access and wants to apply for SSD services, what is the step-by-step process with it? And I think that's something that should go for the counseling center, going into Magic. What do you provide? EOP, camp. There's a lot of different programs that if we walked in and showed a visual of how the process is or who the people are, I think students will get less nervous about going into these facilities, because you kind of get the sense of, oh, I know this person, I've seen them already, I know who to
Putting a
look for.
face to it, yeah.
Exactly, putting a face to a name. I think if it's worked, then why not?
I love it.
Thank you. Those are wonderful answers. Thank you. We're going now to our hot wing. Normal hot, guys. Dig in.
Cheers.
Oh
Sure.
no, handle it.
Not bad at all.
Luis, would you like a napkin?
I would love one, thank you.
Here, my dear.
Action plan. What will you do if you were to be elected as ASI president?
Ooh, okay. Well, for action plans, it depends on what you're talking about because I think I have a lot of things are coming to this campus. I know we're going to be having a new president. We have an interim one right now. And with that being said, there's a lot of things that are changing, a lot of roles and positions. But one thing that's been brought up constantly was the Black Student Success Center. And I know that it was released by interim President Harper about the location of it being in DDH. I think it's 101K or 102K it was the location. And I think that for an action plan, with that one, a lot of people have talked about moving forward the making sure it happens, but there's no action plan with that. And like for myself, I know that I would be, if elected, I'd be the only student as of right now, the way it's set up. I think Daisy's the only representative for that group. So if the ASI president's the only one that's represented for that group, what I would do is I would look at CSSA. And for students who don't know what CSSA is, it is actually like all of the ASI executive teams, they come together and they meet. I would talk with them because there's other campuses that have a Black Student Success Center, and I'd say, what did you like or dislike about it? And start with, when it comes to the implementation of that room, designing it, I'd go around, ask students what makes them feel comfortable, feel welcome there, and pull from campuses that had success with it, because you don't want to start from just basic ideas. You want to go from, if there's ideas that have worked, why not start from the best and then build your way up there? When it comes to other implementations, I know that we come from a very diverse population. It's a college campus. There's everyone of different races, religions, you name it, they're all here. We are a HIS school, Hispanic Institute, that's, Hispanic Serving Institute. So for me, what I would say is that, since there's so many different cultures, I would actually make a cultural enrichment committee. And I would meet people from different schools, different ethnicities, different religions, and have your own cabinet in a sense to talk about how we can implement different things around campus. I was talking during Runner Hour and I said, like, for example, I don't think we have enough events on campus. We always single it to 1 month. And like for myself with Disability Awareness Month, I say, okay, that may be in October, but that doesn't mean I stop having disability year round. So if, for example, if there's Asian Pacific Islander Month and we have international students who are here in the fall and they don't know what we're doing in the spring, how do they know they feel celebrated on campus? It needs to be something that's more than just one time, 1 month. It needs to be a year-round collective idea and action plan, and asking in that committee, what would you like to see? How can we celebrate you? Where would you like to be celebrated? In addition to, I even think of with Marcy, she was really great this past year with ASI and talking about with like working with facilities for native and indigenous plants to the region and celebrating the culture and what used to be here as well. So I think it's kind of not one simple answer. I think an action plan depends on which area we need to focus on. And I think there's a lot of areas we can focus on this upcoming year.
I like that. That's a really good action plan. Cultural committee. I like. Luis, do you have a following question?
I did. So, Erin, as you well know, I'm the president of a club on campus.
Yes.
And one of the things a lot of clubs on campus deal with is student engagement. It's a recurring problem. And it's even been more exacerbated by the fact that we're coming off COVID. And during the debates, for those who didn't get to attend, a lot of the candidates mentioned that student engagement and involvement is something you want to improve on campus. Mm-hmm. But engagement and involvement is one of those problems that's easy to identify and it's hard to solve. What ideas you have?
Well, thank you for asking with that. So that's kind of a different action plan that I have in mind. With clubs, I think what's hard is that when I came over here, it was the during and post-COVID group. And when I first started in ASI, I think it was Stephanie Magana that when she was president, she used to have actual flyers in the ASI office of everything that's going down of clubs, meetings, events happening that week, and I feel like it's kind of slowly trickled away. I think the number one way we can immediately see an increase is by making sure there's awareness for all of us, because we're a board of, I believe it's 26 directors. If we're a board of 26, there's no way that all of us in different schools, different groups can't pass along that information to our different classes and then be encouraged to apply and join and be involved in these club meetings. So I think having an immediate plan would be to increasing that in how many people walk by the ASI door, putting it up for everyone to see. Having that, I think also having a separate, kind of like how I said I want to do a cultural enrichment committee, I want to do something that's separate from Student Leadership Council, of having like an own presidential cabinet where I meet with club leaders as well as people who are not club leaders, because while you are a club leader on campus, that's amazing. I want to have you involved in the process, but also somebody in your club that maybe isn't very vocal, because I feel like the people who are the least vocal have the most to say. And so how can I know what's going on if I'm not going and joining these club meetings, or having a space where all of us can come together, separate from Student Leadership Council, to specifically talk about what is your report that's happening in your club, where do you need support outside of the finance committee, are there events, do you need volunteers, working with sensational sophomores. Like if you have a large event that you want to have go on and you need volunteers, you need people to spread the word, pairing with those different organizations on campus. The biggest way to do it is to have a spread of word, but you have to be willing to be vocal.
Good questions
and do
to
this.
ask and some good answers. Good job, Erin.
Thank you.
But now we get to the next level. We get to the atomic level. Eating this atomic wing next, so
Cheers.
go ahead, take a bite, everyone.
Bon appetit.
Why did I get the biggest nugget and you guys go like little?
Oh,
Who's getting better?
that is a little warmer.
Okay, Erin, so I got a question for you. My question is asking.
The milk's looking better and better every second.
You need some milk. You need some milk? There you go.
How do you see yourself as being the single voice for thousands of students? As ASI president, if you were elected, why should you be that voice for thousands of students?
And if I could add to his question, why do you think you should be that way?
Okay. Awesome. Thank you. Pressure's coming up and the heat is turning on because I think it's hard because there's never a perfect president. I talked about this in the debate. There's not one student that can have the exact same experience as everyone else on campus, but the challenges you go through can allow you to, I'm sorry, I am like burning right now, can allow you to sympathize with other students and sometimes understand different point of views. So when it comes to being the sole leader and having the ability to, I think it really comes down to, and I'm sorry, oof, it's like hurt. It comes down to having the leadership skills and the experience. I don't find it to be a daunting task to be the sole representative for CSUB. I was fortunate enough to be in a similar position about 2 years ago, Institute of Public Policy, and there it's only one person out of each of the 23 CSUs, and I think 2 private schools as well. And I was the first person in CSUB history to be selected as a liaison. For myself, they said that I had the ability to work with people of diverse backgrounds and personalities and the leadership skills to lead that role. And so being ASI president, I don't find it as a daunting task because I was thankful enough to have that ability and know that I was successful at it. I was able to work with different people and then be able to bring issues. We were talking with Senator former Vice President Dan Quayle, and I think it was interesting because we were able to bring up issues like in Kern County with agriculture, farm workers' rights, water rights, the difference between that and the Bay Area. As a kid, I had to fight and be my own advocate for equal education because I was denied the right to my 504. When you're a child with one, especially one that's not visible, you tend to internalize things and not be able to speak out. So I actually had to be taught leadership skills and how to learn to be my own advocate. And because of that, I then joined Leaders in Life, and we put on an annual, I can't speak right now, it's really tingling, an annual advocacy conference. It's a conference for teens by teens, where I was facilitating meetings that employees of the county, employees of the superintendent of the schools, they all were attending. I went to leadership training in Santa Barbara for a thing called CASC, and it was for fast forward to then coming here to CSUB. I think a lot of people know my reason and advocacy for that. Like things I've done on campus was I noticed that BDC was not accessible for students. Is it burning a little bit for you too? BDC, the doors were not ADA compliant because there weren't signages, so people were keeping the doors locked, and so you can't access it. So being able to be a voice and make sure that the signs say that keep it unlocked.
Basically is our California Higher Education Student Summit. I was lucky enough to join Erin on this trip, and so yeah, go ahead, tell us about that.
So that was a pretty cool one. One thing that we really heavily focused on, my part specifically, was on compact funding, encouraging it for students here because that would directly affect budgets for facilities and updating it. And so, like for example, with the Runner Express, how that's not ADA compliant, being able to have funding so where we could make it ADA compliant would be a big key. The day before, we went lobbying with legislators. I can't speak, my mouth is so numb. I'm so worried for this next one. What we would do is that we actually met with all the other ASI executive directors with CSSA, and we went to different things like
yes, we could delve into this next one. Here we go.
The ghost pepper one.
I believe she's taking a bite. Oh, let's do it.
Famous last
I
words.
promise I'm not crying out of emotion. It's just a little bit burning. Here we go.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, wow.
Personal one.
Personal one.
Tell me, why are you the way you are?
Where did it all start, Erin?
Where did it all start? It all started the day I was born. Both my parents failed to show up.
Which is
Little
remarkable.
Phineas and Ferb, Phineas and Ferb reference for everyone.
Dr. Doofenshmirtz.
You are my sunshine, my only
So, I've got another question. This was submitted to us by an anonymous user. She was basically asking, what is your favorite Star Wars character?
Ooh, this is a very interesting question because are we going animated or live action?
I don't even think we should limit you, Erin.
I don't think we should limit you at
The
all.
whole wide universe,
Okay.
even Legends, is open to you.
Okay.
Go crazy.
Is probably Ahsoka from the animated shows. Love her. I think she has one of the best arcs because when she started off as like a Padawan and a child, like, and you watch her grow up to be an adult, and she has one of the best arcs. Even from animated, she even grew to her own live action show. Just like chef's kiss how it was. Like close ones to follow, it'd probably be Captain Rex or Anakin. Some
What about
some
Yoda?
classics.
You like Yoda?
I do love Yoda. He's in my top.
So, who's your favorite rapper?
Oh, probably Biggie Smalls.
Oh,
If I had to do, I don't know, because I do like, okay.
Someone's really notorious.
Oh yeah, I mean my car is named Biggie. Do you want some more milk?
Oh, no,
Yeah.
I'm good. So,
But probably Biggie, if not, one of the best disses was No Vaseline by Ice Cube. So,
I didn't know you were like that.
so
That's
I don't know.
I like that.
I think we should maybe switch up universes a little bit. Favorite Marvel character?
Ooh, Captain America all the way.
Okay.
And that's like not hesitation. It felt like kind of like when you're watching Transformers and it's like Optimus Prime was ready to have you go to war at like 8 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Captain America was like, yes, like I will follow you into battle.
Captain America likes to say, I could do this all day.
Mhm.
So with that, why don't we add our
Ooh.
final combination?
Segue.
So we are going to put this sauce on the atomic wing. And this,
The more the merrier.
Handle. Oh, this one burns.
Not all together. Oh, someone's a little. What was that, Alejandro?
Yeah.
You mind repeating that?
Milk. Mistakes were made.
Okay. Erin.
Yes, that's my name. Voting, don't forget, is next week, Wednesday through Thursday, and then announcements. I can't talk right now because it's coming back with a second wave of burning. But announcements will be posted Friday. But I'd appreciate everyone's support and to go vote next Wednesday and Thursday.
do we have any more questions? Audience, no more.
We're
questions?
taking listener questions.
Q&A.
You in the back with your.
With your pizza. Erin,
Au revoir.
you've answered our questions amazingly. So yes,
Super
like she
sexy.
said, remember to vote. What days again?
Wednesday and Thursday.
Vote for Erin Pruitt.
Check your email.
Thank you.
Cheers.